Hey, what's going on guys, Chris here with another Battlefield 1 weapon guide for you today, and in this one I'll be taking a good look at the Cei Rigotti. It's a self-loading rifle for the medic class, which can switch between both semi-auto and fully automatic firing modes whenever you please. The Cei Rigotti originated in Italy and was named after the guy who created it. With the weapon first being designed in the final years of the 1800s and introduced into the world in the early 1900s, this Cei Rigotti was considered to be a lightweight, compact gun compared to other early semi-auto rifles around at the time. And it had a select fire function to switch between fully and semi-automatic modes. There isn't exactly tons of known information regarding the Cei Rigotti's development and history, though the gun was never actually adopted by any military forces due to its unreliability, as reports from testing suggest that it wasn't suitable, though this outcome could have been down to the gun's ammunition being damaged in transit before the gun was tested. It's believed that only a small number of Cei Rigottis were even made, most of which lie in museums around the world, though its presence throughout the events of World War I is still a bit of a mystery. But anyway, it's definitely present in Battlefield 1, as medics can equip their very own Cei Rigotti on their loadouts from the start, and this comes in the form of the factory variant, one of the 3 available in multiplayer, along with both the Trench and Optical versions, which can be unlocked with war bonds and ranking up as a medic. So taking a look at those damage values, the gun has a maximum damage of 38 up to 32 meters, which is then going to drop down over distance to its minimum damage of 28 at 41 meters and beyond. This basically means that the weapon's capable of killing another guy with a full bar of health with 3 to 4 bullets to the body. So it's not quite as powerful at longer ranges than some of the other medic rifles like the Mondragon, which can drop targets with just 3 bullets at all distances, though it does have a slightly faster fire rate to compensate, being able to shoot at 300 RPM. So the rifle's still very effective at taking out enemies quickly, and works pretty well against targets at closer to medium ranges, being able to fire at a decent rate and killing 3 bullets too. Not to mention that the recoil pattern is a little bit friendlier than some of the other medic weapons, with an upwards kick of 0.7 and a horizontal kick of 0.32, which should help you stay on target and get those follow-up shots to land where they need to. Although the recoil might not be all that bad, when shooting in full auto, or by rapidly bashing the fire button in semi-auto, you're still going to make the gun bounce around, which might put some of your shots off target in the process. It's usually best to take your time and line shots up individually against players further away, placing each bullet in the right spot to ensure that they're going to connect. The fully automatic mode works pretty well at closer ranges, but will probably cause you to miss quite a few shots against enemies over distance, though you can still tap fire whilst in the full auto setting, to get the best of both worlds if you wish. One reason why you might not want to go fully automatic could be down to the Cei Rigotti's magazine capacity. It can only fire 10 rounds per reload, and those 10 rounds are going to go pretty quickly if you're shooting them fast and aren't paying attention, and in the middle of a hectic gunfight, the last thing you really want is an empty magazine. Using the semi-auto mode might help you to conserve ammo by forcing you to manually choose how many bullets you want to unload, rather than letting the gun do it for you. The rifle's muzzle velocity checks out at 700 meters per second, which is kind of in the middle when compared to other medic weapons. It's not the fastest, but at the same time it's not the slowest, meaning you should be able to trace targets over distance without too much difficulty, but some of the rifles might seem slightly easier to use at longer ranges because of this. Now time to go over those different variants and what makes them unique. As for the starting weapon, the Cei Rigotti Factory, this version basically regains accuracy quicker after every shot. It has a 50% faster recoil decrease, and also recovers twice as quickly from spread than the other 2 variants. This should help you out in most one-on-one battles, as it's going to allow you to get back on target easier for follow-up shots after every round you fire off. It doesn't affect how much recoil you'll get, but it will reset the gun's sights back to its original position faster, which is definitely going to make a difference when tap firing and hitting enemies over distance. The Trench variant directly affects hipfire accuracy and gives it a huge buff, by reducing the spread by 40% when moving and 50% when stationary, along with having a lower spread increase per shot when shooting from the hip too. Although the Cei Rigotti is a weapon that can work fairly well in close range engagements, most of the time aiming down sights is usually going to be the more effective, reliable way to take on your opponents, down to the rate of fire being slower than a lot of other guns in the game, and with ADS just generally being more accurate. You'll mainly be using the rifle against enemies beyond those very close ranges where a hipfire accuracy increase could be beneficial, and so this might not be the best variant to run with for that reason, as a hipfire advantage is probably not going to be very useful with the Cei Rigotti, and doesn't really offer any huge buff that can match up with the other 2 variants. But lastly we've got the Optical version, which is probably going to be the more useful option for most players. as it's not only fitted with its own lens sight for better target acquisition, but it's also going to be more accurate when aiming down those sights too, with 25% less base spread and 50% less spread increase per shot in ADS. This means that the gun's bullets are going to disperse less as you fire them quickly, helping with accuracy, along with having the ability to zoom in with that scope for a better view. So all in all, the Cei Rigotti is capable of putting players down at closer ranges in just 3 bullets, but might take an extra 1 against anyone further away. Its rate of fire, fairly modest recoil pattern, and the ability to fire in full auto might give it an edge in closer range battles, when compared to some of the other medic rifles. Though its fairly low ammo count per mag could cause a few problems when you're surrounded. It might not be the strongest over long distances, but it's still a very effective and versatile choice nevertheless. And that's all I've got for you this time. Hope you liked the video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe for plenty more videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.